it does make me think about how far I have come. And at that time, I never believed that I was going to get out of that sort of dark place. And it is pretty amazing to be sitting here and just not feeling any of that negativity anymore.
It's an extraordinary thing. You've been through what must be the worst imaginable thing. Just married, husband killed, and the trauma of very nearly not surviving yourself. What brought you out of it? It was time, I know, but what brought you through it, do you think?
I think it was about starting to believe in myself again, because I lost so much of that after the tsunami, and I just didn't actually believe that I was worth being here. Like, what was I here for? Because it really was a miracle that I survived. And I suppose I just focused on the things I knew I was really good at, and I really worked hard in my career and worked hard in helping people. And each year I started to rebuild in a way. And it was a lot to do with the people around me. I have a very good support network, and Jim Steins was one of the most prominent people in my life that really made that difference.
So the people will relate to this. When you get to that stage, you get so low and it's just not worth it. Really. What do you do? What brings you through that?
Yeah, I think for me it was about what the possibilities of what else I could do, and there was still potential. I hadn't lost that whole, there was still some potential in what I could do, and I had a great network around me. And look, Reach played a huge part in that, because I had an organisation that is all about nurturing people and empowering people to do whatever it is they dream to do, no matter what their circumstance. And I was one of the first Reach kids through the program. And even though at the time I was in my mid-20s, that Reach work surrounded me and really supported me to take on things like the Broadbridge Fund and start things with the support of the Reach Foundation.
So you'd been involved with Reach before?
Oh, yes. So
at what age?
I was 14.
Why? Why did you get involved?
So I got involved because Jim came to my school and it had just started. It was called Reach for the Stars. It didn't have an office or anything like that. It was 20 years ago. And Jim came and did a talk, and I was in Year 9, and it was the typical girl. There was a lot of bitchiness going on, and it was really tough Year 9. And Jim came in, and I thought, this footy player, what's he going to do, sort of thing. And he came into the room, and after 90 minutes, how safe I felt at school was the first time I'd felt really safe, because there was a lot of bullying that went on, and I befriended Jim when I walked him back to the office because I was a year level captain. I had to walk him back, and we started to have a chat, and he asked me to come along to a Reach program, and that really has been, the start of my journey of 20 years with the Reach Foundation.
So at age 14, what did it achieve for you?
I think it was about, I never thought I was that good at anything. I was like, what am I good at? I love sport, but I wasn't good enough to do it professionally. I wasn't necessarily that good at school at the time, and I wasn't that confident. So I think what Reach gave me was that place where I felt like I could be myself for starters, and then start to explore what it is that I was really good at. And Jim really took me under his wing. And it was back then that I said I wanted to be the Reach CEO. And I wrote it
at age 14?
It was 16 when I wrote it in my Hero's Journey book. So Reach have these books called the Hero's Journey book, and you have to fill out what you want to do in 2, 5 and 10 years' time. And 10 years' time, I'd written that I wanted to be the Reach CEO.
Isn't that extraordinary?
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you actually recently discovered that you'd lived out this dream from when you were 16?
It was a pretty amazing feeling, and to be honest, it was a really hard recruitment process because I was on the Reach board, so I had to tell everyone I'm going to put my hand up for this. So I had to also be really sure it's something I wanted to do, and I've always believed in Reach, and I always will, and I thought this is an opportunity for me to take everything I've learned outside of the Reach walls and bring it to the organisation. And it is a dream come true. And it's, when I got the phone call, the first thing obviously is telling my husband, and my daughter who's only 2 months, who probably doesn't understand, but...
Probably.
She's pretty smart, but, she probably doesn't understand that yet. But it was about thinking about Jim and wishing I could make that phone call to him to say that I'd got that role, because it's something that he was really helping me work towards as well.
10 years, we are the sum of the things that happened to us. 10 years on, do you ever think about that tsunami?
Oh, yeah, I still think about it. Yeah, I think about what actually happened on the day, and I've actually become a better person because of it, but it's very hard back then to think that that's possible. But I have.
In what way have you become better?
I think it's the way I look at life and the way I really appreciate and grateful for people in my life and grateful for what life is, really, because I'm really lucky to be here. And it's a pretty extraordinary thing that I went through. It's quite tragic, but I don't want it to define me, but I know it certainly has impacted the person I am today.
Well, you went through horror in the process of survival. Do you still relive that, or is that gone now?
I don't relive it as much, but certainly if I go back there, I'm back there very quickly. Yeah.
Back to Thailand.
Yeah.